good? What is good, y'all? What is poppin'? Mikey T, the movie star, back with some breaking news. Breaking news, y'all. What's popping on Instagram? Hit the link in my bio right now. If you want to tap in, I'm on YouTube Live right now for everybody that's wondering what's popping, y'all. Appreciate everybody tapping in on my official YouTube account tonight. I wanted to go over this exclusive interview that just dropped. Mike Knox got put on blast. Yayo told Gilly the Kid, fifth rules with an iron fist. Yayo basically told Gilly the Kid, because Gilly actually asked him. He said, what's going on? What's going on? Y'all letting Knox back in the clique? And Yayo replied, your man fifth rules with an iron fist. Gilly said, are y'all letting Mike Knox back in the gang? Y'all know that's a family. And Yayo said, one thing about Fifth is you can never show weakness to him. And obviously, Tony Yayo is talking about when Mike Knox got put on blast by Garcia, by the affiliate of Meek Mill. So it's crazy because 50 Cent's beefing with this guy, Meek Mill, somewhat. They go back and forth. Mike Knox takes 50's side, but then within weeks later, Mike Knox is on video apologizing to Meek Mill. He got made to look crazy. He was looking crazy, you guys. And we're going to go over all that tonight. Hit that like button. Y'all know what to do. Hit the like button when you jump up in here. Hit the like button. Drop your city and state in the chat. Let me know where you're tapping in from, because tonight I'm going over the complete history of Mike Knox joining G Unit. But more importantly, we're going to go over Mike Knox getting put on blast on the most popular podcast. When Meek Mill showed up and basically showed love to Gilly the Kid, Mike Knox was there. They're all there. Philly unity. Everybody surrounding Gilly the Kid. And now Mike Knox wants to go against Meek Mill again. What'd you think was going to happen, Mike Knox? You pretty much got ran down on in Philly. They put the camera in your face and they made you say what you had to say, and that pretty much ruined your deal. If you would have stood your ground, you probably would have been laughing on $1 million worth of game with Uncle Murda and Tony Yayo. You would have been up there laughing, having a blast if you would have punched Meek Mill instead of getting thrown around the streets. It's insane. Hit that like button. Drop a comment right now if you're watching. Philly, what's popping? Black Gotti, the hood boss, what's popping with you, man? Yayo said, one thing about 50, you can never show weakness to him. And then they would also bring up the phone call with Young Buck, how Young Buck was crying on the phone. They brought that up. Gilly didn't know about that. Gilly was obviously busy with his career back at that point in time, because that happened in like 2007, before actually the Terminate on Sight album dropped in 2008. And Young Buck was actually removed from the Terminate on Sight album. So right there, the weakness that Young Buck showed was that he started dissing G Unit at all of his live shows. Why was Young Buck saying FG Unit at all of his live shows? It really made no sense. 50 Cent was trying to give him an opportunity to make money. I don't like comparing Young Buck to Mike Knox because Young Buck is an artist that actually had all of G Unit around him. He was in the group. He had a solo deal with G Unit. To compare Young Buck and Mike Knox, it makes absolutely no sense. But if I was Mike Knox, I would take offense to it. The career that Young Buck has had over the last year and a half, not even year and a half, when's his last album? I think his last album was like, his first album was 2004. His second album was 2007. So right around this same time that we're actually talking about right now. And he never dropped an album since then. What do I got here? I got some pink runts, you guys. I got some pink runts. This is one of my favorite strains. No lie. No cap. Pink runts is one of my favorite strains. But when I saw this video, I knew I had to make a response to this video because we had talked about Mike Knox getting put on blast by Meek Mill's affiliates a few months back. And basically the whole internet went crazy over it. 50 Cent even posted a comedic reenactment of that on his Instagram page. You know how 50 does. 50 will make light of the situation. He'll make it look like it just rolls right off. You know what I mean? Brush it right off your shoulders, Fifth. It doesn't matter that the guy who was allegedly protecting you while he was out and not incarcerated just got made to look like a fool on the internet. The guy who was protecting you, I mean, I guess anybody could have did that to him over the years while he was protecting you, right? So 50 just puts out a comedic response to make Mike Knox look like a joke. But it's a very serious situation because Meek Mill has dissed 50 Cent over the years, and Meek Mill is one of the only relevant artists that continue to diss 50 Cent. None of the other people that diss 50 Cent are freaking popular anymore. So Meek Mill going at 50 Cent, it's a bigger picture type of situation. So for Mike Knox to apologize to Meek Mill, it makes G Unit look weak. You made G Unit look weak. Who are you, 40 Glock? Are you 40 Glock in this situation, Mike Knox? They let you rep arguably the greatest clique in hip hop. And now you got your man, Tony Yayo, up there putting your name, dragging your name through the mud. He's dragging your name through the mud right now, Mike Knox. Something I bet you never thought we would see when he allegedly hosted your mixtape. Like, let's be real about this. Everybody was doing mixtape hostings back then. You could pay Max B $300 to host a mixtape back then, and you would have him saying, "It's the wave, boss, Don." I bet Tony Yayo started doing the same thing. So Yayo said one thing about 50, you can never show weakness to him. Certain people are like that, and he's like that. I F with Knox, but once you show that point of weakness, nah, a dude ain't effing with you. So really, that one little point of weakness, nope. We got to go back. We got to go back to the first point of weakness that 50 Cent saw in Mike Knox, aside from his music. The first point of weakness that 50 Cent actually saw in Mike Knox was at the award show when G Unit mopped the floor with Tony Yayo. Gunplay. Tony Yayo, Mike Knox, all the G Unit guys mopped the floor with Gunplay. They slammed him up against the guardrail. Tony Yayo was doing his ad libs like he was at the 50 Cent tour. Yeah, G-Unit, slam him against the fence. Tony Yayo was going off that night. But what happened after? What happened after that? After that, Gunplay jumped on Mike Knox. He jumped on his back. He put him on the ground. You put a G-Unit member on the ground. I need everybody in here to hit the like button, man. Spread the awareness. These other guys, we ain't even going to worry about the other guys. I don't even need to tell you that they ain't up here talking about it like me. But let's keep getting to it. Let's keep getting to it because Yayo is putting Mike Knox on blast right here after so many years of Mike Knox saying things like, oh, Yayo is the one who actually brought me in to G-Unit. Well, now the man who brought you into G-Unit is actually putting you on blast right now. Tony Yayo is telling you it's a cold world, Mike Knox. It's a cold world, so dress proper, my friend. Dress proper. Take that advice. Mike Knox just got put on blast here on the most popular podcast on the internet. This is the second time that Yayo and Uncle Murda actually got somebody in trouble, though. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? This is the second time that Yayo and Uncle Murda got somebody in trouble just by simply laughing in the background. The first time was the Cameron and Mace show or the Cameron podcast when 50 Cent was there. And what was going on? You had Uncle Murda and Tony Yayo doing their best laughs, enjoying themselves like they were out eating caviar pancakes at breakfast, just having a nice brunch conversation. Next thing you know, we'll see them on Drink Champs, drinking, taking shots with Nori. I like it. Didn't Yayo actually have one of the most impressive Drink Champs episodes, like the biggest viewed episode or something like that? That's dope. I also give props to Vlad for what he's done. That's the most consistent. But Tony Yayo was telling Mike Knox it's a cold world, man. He said, I loved Buck. I never stepped on his neck. He said he never stepped on his neck when anything went wrong with him. Well, I seem to remember interviews with Tony Yayo actually saying that he would purchase a quarter ounce of weed for $125 and young Buck would go crazy acting like he was 50 Cent and purchasing a pound. I remember interviews like that. But I'll be real with y'all. When young Buck joined G-Unit, it was no problem. It was absolutely no problem. Yayo let him come into the group. I think that's because Yayo had actually met young Buck, though, on the tour bus when 50 Cent was trying to work with Juvenile, I would say. I'm not really 100% sure of what was going down there. But I would have to imagine that 50 Cent was shopping to get a record with Juvenile because he would do a lot of records with a lot of known artists back then before he actually blew up. So I'd have to imagine that's why. And then they actually got the record Bloodhound. 50 Cent came across Young Buck and it actually gelled. You know what I mean? It was actually a good fit. Young Buck made G-Unit look more presentable. It actually made them a more well-rounded group. You know, I would arguably have to say my favorite part of the G-Unit group would have to be 50, Banks, and Young Buck from the classic Beg for Mercy. You know, arguably the best, you know, rendition of G-Unit. You know, you can say what you want about the G-Unit mixtapes, but I would have to say Young Buck joining in really gave G-Unit a classic formula. And I've said it many times. But I was interested in hearing what they would have done as a group after Beg for Mercy. And I'm not talking about Terminate on Sight. I'm talking about what would have happened if Young Buck and The Game and Tony Yayo were all part of the group with Lloyd Banks and 50 Cent, and not just separated portions of the group. And shout out to my guy Kid as well. Kid shows me a lot of love. And when Kid came to the group several years later, probably over a decade later, just a couple years short of a decade from the Terminate on Sight album, 2008 to 2015 or 16, Kid came in and just had some of the most incredible verses, the most hungry, gritty verses, you know what I'm saying? But the reunion for Gene, it just was not the same, man. But Yayo is right when he said, I loved Buck. I never stepped on his neck. Yayo let Young Buck come in and actually take the shine that he deserved. Yayo actually got the feature on Straight Out of Cashville as well when they took the videos for Buck's third single. So what did he have? He had Let Me In, Shorty Wanna Ride, and he had the Look at Me Now and Bonafide Hustler split video. Then he also had the Stomp video, if you guys remember that. So what did he have? 4 or 5 videos for that? He had the split video with Look at Me Now. Since the day I was born, I've been hustling strong. I believe it was, who was it? Jazzy Faye on that. Before Jazzy Faye had really taken off. Is that accurate? You know what I'm saying? Because Buck's singles weren't that big besides Shorty Wanna Ride. The breakthrough success of Shorty Wanna Ride that really elevated that album. You know what I mean? That record broke through. Yayo was featured on Bonafide Hustler. The music video was actually featured and shown sometimes, not all the time on television, but sometimes you could see the Tony Yayo verse from Bonafide Hustler, which was one of my favorite Tony Yayo verses of all time. I need everybody in here to hit that like button, man. Show some love to the channel. In Yayo said even when everything went wrong with him, he basically didn't even go at him. He said even when everything went wrong with him, once he cried to 50, that's a no-go. I don't care if you're on your last dime. Don't cry to 50. Don't cry to 50. Don't cry to 50. You were the one who, didn't you tweet that you felt like spoiled milk? Were you down, Yayo, were you down to your last dime when you tweeted about being like spoiled milk or something like that? And if I really were to dig into why you felt like spoiled milk, I bet you I could get to the bottom of it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying? If you leave a G Unit album out too long, it'll probably start to get to like some spoiled milk. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the Money, Power, Respect. It's not like something like From the Locks. You know what I'm saying? It's not like something like that that's going to stand the test of time. It's going to sit right. You know what I mean? Some of them G Unit things, they might curdle a little bit. Pause. If that's a pausable offense. But yeah, man, that's just kind of, I kind of see what he's saying about that. Spoiled milk. Guy felt a little bit like spoiled milk. Why didn't you just feel a little spoiled? Why didn't you feel a little spoiled that you got to live in Battery Park? That you got to wake up, leave your space, leave your quarters of living, walk outside without your shoes, and look at the Statue of Liberty? Why don't you feel a little spoiled, Richie Rich? You remind me of some Macaulay Culkin shit, Tony Yayo. What were you doing in there when you put the thumbprint on your shoe and you didn't give a damn about nothing else that went into your shoe besides putting a thumbprint? Oh, we got it all with a thumbprint. That was maybe good for your CD cover. You had an opportunity to make shoes, and all you did was want to spend your money on shoes. You see what I'm saying? You had the opportunity to make shoes, but all you wanted to do was spend your money on shoes. That's the difference when you and 50 Cent. The guy who owns a dispensary and the guy who smokes out his crib like it is a dispensary. But Yayo is saying that basically after Young Buck cried to 50 Cent that it was over for him. But that's not even true. That's not even true. When Young Buck cried to 50 Cent, what did 50 do? He actually paid his taxes. After that, he actually signed him back to G Unit for a solo deal and a group deal. So what are you even saying here, Yayo? What you're saying doesn't even line up with the facts of life. He was done with Young Buck after that. He put him on 5 tracks on the Terminate on Sight album. Come on, let's get our facts right when we're actually talking about this stuff. It wasn't 50 Cent that was done with Young Buck. It was the general public that was done with Young Buck. When we heard Buck crying on the phone like a little bitch, we were done. We were done with it. We were like, this guy's out of his mind crying. He was on the phone like, 50, I just don't understand, man. I don't understand. Buck, you got to stay closer to me, Buck. You got to stay. 50 made himself look bad releasing that tape. He sounded so manipulative in that. You sound insane, 50 Cent, telling Young Buck he needs to stay closer to you. You needed Young Buck to be your Kanye West. Instead, you hindered him. You held him back. Oh, Mikey T, how did 50 Cent hold back Young Buck? How did he hold back Young Buck? He made him wait over 3 years to drop his album. He made him wait 2 years, 9 months to drop his album, to follow up his 1.8 million selling Straight Out of Cashville album. He made him wait from September of 2004 to, what was it, March of 2007 to release an album. You stunted the growth of your own artist. You basically you sabotaged your project. Young Buck was on that same episode of Rap City that I was talking about a few days ago when Jim Jones pulled up. When Jim Jones pulled up, Young Buck was there calling out Lil Wayne. Young Buck was taking the title of the next big artist from the South. But I'll give it to Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda. They're smart. They're funny. They laugh during these tense moments. You know, I think that they were also laughing because they were a little uncomfortable too. You know what I mean? Yayo, this seems to be his technique. Uncle Murda's a little bit new on the scene, so I feel like he's kind of following protocol with Tony Yayo from all the interviews that I've watched them in together, whether it's Vlad, Math Hoffa, or this one now. He's kind of doing what Yayo does, but that's obvious because he's the new guy. You know what I mean? He does laugh a little bit more than Yayo, though, I will say. Uncle Murda is the dude that had a major stare down with 50 Cent, though, you guys. Uncle Murda is on another level. He even said it himself. He said it himself. He didn't want to sign with 50 Cent. He wanted to wait for Jay-Z. He wanted to be 50 Cent because, and I only say that because I'm not saying that the way Tony Yayo was saying it. I'm saying that he wanted to be in 50 Cent's shoes because he wanted to sell 1 million copies first week as well. You know, so that's really why he wanted to go with Jay-Z. And back then, just when I watched it all going down, the bidding war for Uncle Murda, the bidding war 2004, something like that, it was just a really bad move for Uncle Murda to go with. It was a horrible move. It was the worst move Oh, man. Don't even tell me. That's such BS. It was a horrible move for Uncle Murda to go with Jay-Z back in the day. It was an absolutely bad move. There was nothing that Jay-Z could have done for Uncle Murda back in the day. I don't give a damn if Mariah Carey's favorite song is Bullet Bullet. You know what I mean? I don't give a damn how poppin' the Warning was. Him signing with Jay-Z was just not the right move because Jay-Z was at a point in his career where he was really trying to figure out what he was going to do to become a billionaire. He wasn't all too much worried about selling an artist going double platinum anymore. He had already been through that phase with artists like the Young Guns, Beanie Siegel, Memphis Bleak several times, different female artists. He'd been through all those phases, you know what I mean? Trying to turn Rihanna into the next Brandy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Brandy sold some records, man. He wanted to sell that 15, 16 million records. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z really didn't have time to do Uncle Murda like that. 50 Cent back then would have had time to turn Uncle Murda into a major star on G Unit. Much bigger of a star than he's going to be now. At this point, yeah, you can tour around for the nostalgic purposes. You can be around 50 because 50 is going to be touring for the next 10 years. So it's a good career to be around. But back in 2005, 2006, 2004, those years, if Uncle Murda would have been smart about it and signed with 50, he would have been the next 50 Cent. You know, because Tony Yayo, he didn't cut it. You know what I mean? Tony Yayo didn't cut it. Lloyd Banks was a different genre to what the next 50 Cent would have been. Young Buck was for the South. So Uncle Murda could have been really that person to follow up 50 Cent. But Tony Yayo wants to talk about, oh, Uncle Murda wants to be 50 Cent. Uncle Murda wants to be 50 Cent. Tony Yayo, you wanted to be 50 Cent. You were the one talking about you wanted to sell 750,000 units. 750,000 units. Yeah, you said it in interviews. You wanted to be 50 Cent, homie. Trying to put that on Uncle Murda. Gilly the Kid asked the question, though, y'all. What's up? Y'all letting Knox back in the clique? Gilly the Kid, why you got to do this, homie? Why do you got to do this, Gilly? You really had to put Mike Knox on blast? You really had to put Knox on blast? You just put Knox on blast worse than Garci. I'm just saying, Gil. I'm just saying, Gil, you know you're the king of this shit, brother. You just put Mike Knox on blast worse than Garci. No cap. No cap. You went on your podcast with 50 Cent's right-hand man, the guy who's been credited for being the bridge to Mike Knox's union with G Unit. And you asked Tony Yayo, what's up, y'all? Y'all letting Knox back in the clique? First of all, I didn't even really hear what you said, Gil. I had to turn it up. I had to call a friend. You know what I mean? I was on the phone with my homie. I'm like, what did he just say there? Yayo replies, your man Fifth rules with an iron fist. Yeah, there's been a lot of people that get kicked out of G Unit. Bangum Smurf. Who else got kicked out of G Unit? The Game. Who else got kicked out of G Unit? Lloyd Banks left voluntarily. Lloyd Banks left. Who else got kicked out of G Unit, you guys? Oh, Mike Knox got publicly embarrassed by 50 Cent's ops, Meek Mill and them, put on blast on the internet, and what happened? What happened after that? After that, 50 Cent decided he was going to put the video up online himself and make fun of it, make light of it, kind of poke fun at Mike Knox for getting put on blast in these Philly streets. You know what I'm saying? He got caught up in them Philly streets, as they would say about me. I guess it ain't just little old Mikey T who can get caught up in these Philly streets and have their whole career flipped around on their head, right? Because Mike Knox, things ain't been the same. Things ain't been the same since you got caught up by Garcia. And Gilly just wanted to know what everybody else wants to know. Why'd 50 unfollow you? Why'd 50 post that picture? Are you still affiliated with G Unit? What happened with the G Unit situation? Hell, if you were really affiliated with 50 in the first place, why didn't he sign Meek Mill when you brought him to him? Tony Yayo said, Gilly actually came back after Yayo said 50 rules with an iron fist. Gilly said, y'all letting Mike Knox back in the gang? Y'all know that's a family. Are they really a family, though? What music have they ever dropped? What family ties do they have? We, as the general public, don't really know Mike Knox as being a member of G Unit. Hot Rod is more of a member of G Unit, right, guys? Like, is Mike Knox really even a member of G Unit? Maserati Fox was more of a rest in peace. Actually, you wouldn't even question Maserati Fox as being a member of G Unit because Maserati Fox could actually get 50 Cent on the phone if you hit him up. But Yayo said one thing about 50 is you can never show weakness to him. Certain people are like that and he's like that. I F with Knox, but once you show that point of weakness, a dude ain't effing with you. Like Young Buck. I loved Buck, Tony Yayo said. I never stepped on his neck when anything went wrong with him. Once he cried to 50, that's a no-go. I don't care if you're on your last dime. Don't cry to 50. You can't show no weakness, is what Tony Yayo said about 50 Cent. What up? What's poppin', Uncle Ralph? Tony Yayo is basically telling Mike Knox, it's a cold world, homie, so dress proper. Take that advice, Mike Knox, man. You just got put on blast on $1 million worth of game, man. You know, but let me talk about it, man. Let me talk about it a little bit. See, Mike Knox, you fucked up, man. I'll be real. You fucked up. Gilly said it low. He said it so low that they actually didn't even hear him. But Gilly, I gotta ask, man, what the hell was going on there? It kind of seemed like you didn't know what was going on. Did you want to put Mike Knox on blast, or did you really want to put him on Front Street like that? Because you did. You did. You got your click. But I'm going to be real. Mike Knox, everyone looked at you and said one thing. This is not 50's man. This is not 50's man. This dude seems off-brand. I don't even know what the fuck he reps. He's getting a pass just because he's from Philly. Like, what's going on here? He doesn't even rap that good. With you, Mike Knox, I said, like, this whole gangster image thing, it's not going to fly because, you know what I mean? It's just not going to work. You just being gangster. That wasn't going to be what ended up selling your image. It wasn't going to work for you like it did another rapper like, say, Mano or Jim Jones. You know what I mean? So, Gilly, when you said this, I'd actually turn my volume up. I'm asking myself, they left you where? Out the click? They left you where? Out in the cold? Mike Knox, when somebody sees you, anybody out there that sees Mike Knox, I want you to donate a jacket. Donate a jacket because Mike Knox was left out in the cold. You don't have enough money to sleep in your car with the heat on, so you got left out in the cold. Don't be mad at Gilly. Mike Knox, don't be mad at Gilly because he actually asked the question about you. I want you to question yourself. Like, why was I apologizing to people on Instagram? Why was I apologizing? Was that the weakness that 50 Cent saw in me? Huh? Think to yourself. Think to yourself, what else was it about you that made 50 Cent say that you're soft? I'll tell you something. 50 Cent didn't think Maserati Fox was soft. Nah, he didn't think Fox was soft. Your situation is actually somewhat similar to Maserati Fox. Do you know how many people used to approach Fox in the streets and say, yo, Mozzie, you're not really G-Unit. You're not really G-Unit. Maserati Fox, a.k.a. F.O. Yeah, but he could prove that he was G-Unit. He could actually prove that he was G-Unit. But can you really prove that you're down with G-Unit, Mike Knox? This man, Maserati Fox, was behind the G walls repping G-Unit. Were you? You got Tony Yayo on $1 Million Worth of Game calling you out. And this is the guy who you've said on multiple occasions is the reason you're in G-Unit. You didn't put in the pain like the rest of the set did, Knox, to be claiming G-Unit like that. All you did was a mixtape with Tony Yayo. What is that supposed to mean? You didn't put in no pain for G-Unit the way that Jim Jones put in pain for Dipset. Mike Knox, the thing with you is that when it comes down to it, your music, it's just not that good. You're not a star. You know what I mean? You don't have that star quality about you. So when you walk around thinking you're actually good, like when you walk around thinking your raps are actually fire, man, listen, man, my girl usually says, yo, turn that shit off. You know what I mean? Turn that shit off. It doesn't even sound wavy, Mikey T. You want to know why Uncle Murda gets the pass? Huh? You want to know why Murda gets the pass? It's because he put in pain. Because Uncle Murda's not fronting. I'm rolling up, y'all. Excuse me. Uncle Murda gets the pass. He's not fronting in his raps. Not only that, but I'll be real. You can't dress. You can't dress. I'm sorry if you take this the wrong way, but you need a stylist. And if you hit me up on some non-confrontational shit, professional shit, maybe I'll help you out with that. I'll tell you something. A.R.Rab didn't need a Mary Jeans, but you, my friend, need a Mary Jeans. You heard? Just keeping it 100 with you. I'm just keeping a stack. I know you need the chrome hearts. You know what I'm saying? I know people in the fashion industry, man. I know people in the fashion industry that actually, I'm not going to go that far, but enough talking about chrome hearts. Back to Mike Knox. Back to Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda laughing at you on the biggest podcast on the internet. What's your response going to be to Tony Yayo? The man said, you're a weak individual. Do you have anything to say? Don't DM me and diss me on Instagram. Diss the people who are laughing hysterically in your face on the hottest podcast on the internet. But you want to blame me when they're laughing at you in front of hundreds of thousands of people. You know, Mike Knox, the thing is, like, I got to ask, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to make sure the people stop laughing at you? What did you learn from this experience about weakness and loyalty? Because to them, Because to them, you're a pancake. You can't pick a side. You can't pick a side, man. You can't have the best of both worlds, Mike Knox. I hate to have to be the one to break it to you. You got caught up as a switch sider. You jumped the fence one too many times, Mike Knox. Is it 50 Cent or is it Meek Mill? You got to choose one, and I think you chose a little bit too late because you officially chose G Unit and then you got ran down on by Dream Chasers. Isn't that the events of what took place, Mike Knox? If you would have slugged Meek Mill, you'd be the hottest thing smoking right now. If you're G Unit, you're G Unit. If you're rocking with 50, you take everything that comes with that. You can't be the Lloyd Banks type, man. He doesn't need no soft, timid, getting beat up by gunplay type of individual with him. Gunplay is actually wild, though. I know Gunplay. I interviewed Gunplay a couple times. Gunplay is actually wild, so it's whatever on the real. But I think 50, y'all are gonna find this crazy. I think 50 actually should have signed Gunplay. I think that actually would have been the smart move. 50 should have signed Gunplay. If he was smart, he would have took Gunplay and he would have actually traded you for Gunplay. He should have said, yo, Rick Ross's artist, Gunplay, is actually doper than this artist from Philly. What's poppin', Chappa? 50 should have said, Rick Ross's artist from Florida, Carroll City, is actually more poppin' than this artist from Philly. Look at Gunplay, you guys. At least he's got personality, you know what I mean? Mike Knox is like watching paint dry on a wall. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing interesting about you, Mike Knox. Your interviews are not even captivating. So anyone out there, listen to me, anyone out there that wants to be a rapper, this is a public disclaimer, a PSA, public service announcement. So anyone that wants to be a rapper, I want you to look at yourself and say, am I better than Mike Knox? I want you to dig deep within yourself and question yourself and say, am I better than this dude? Now, 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be yes. So don't get gassed. Rapping better than Mike Knox just means you're barely tolerable. But yeah. So if you're an aspiring rapper, I want you to ask yourself that question, man. So like I said, Yayo said one thing about 50 is you can never show him no weakness. Rappers that have showed 50 weakness. Who showed 50 Cent weakness, you guys? Who has shown 50 Cent weakness in the past? Because I don't really agree with Yayo saying that you can't show 50 weakness, because it's pretty evident that Young Buck showed 50 Cent weakness, and then 50 Cent actually re-signed Young Buck. What other artists? 50 doesn't usually re-sign artists all the time, so you could say that. Young Buck when he cried. But the thing about that is, man, when Young Buck cried to 50, 50 actually took Young Buck back. 50 actually, re-signed him years later. 50 even continued to allow Young Buck to record solo material on G Unit in an attempt to actually release an album. The thing is, Young Buck just didn't ever put any worthwhile projects together after Buck the World, which is kind of crazy. I mean, Buck's album after Buck the World was allegedly going to be called The Rehab, which I found kind of whack. I found that kind of whack to follow up Buck the World with the Rehab album. But 50 Cent was just mismanaging Young Buck's project anyways. Young Buck had a single with the lead singer of Linkin Park. Like, that makes no sense to me that 50 Cent wouldn't have marketed a G-Unit and Linkin Park collaboration after the, Jay-Z and Linkin Park collaboration that sold a couple 100,000 records first week. So that was just bad marketing on 50 Cent's part and a missed opportunity on 50 Cent's part as well. Like, how are you going to miss that major opportunity that Young Buck just set you up with? I mean, the guy's working with Linkin Park. It's a big deal. I would have even had the guy who rapped in Linkin Park actually come in and do some vocals on there as well, so you could call it the official G-Unit and Linkin Park collaboration. It made no sense to me why 50 Cent didn't take the major opportunity to do that. So Yayo said here on the podcast, I F's with Knox, but once you show that point of weakness, a dude ain't effing with you. Like Young Buck. I loved Buck, but I never stepped on his neck when anything went wrong with him. Once he cried to 50, that's a no-go. I don't care if you're on your last dime. Don't cry to 50. You can't show 50 no weakness. You can't show 50 no weakness, huh? Did Bangum Smurf show 50 weakness? Is that why he let Bangum Smurf go? You can't show 50 no aggression either, man. You can't show 50 Cent no aggression either. Like, yo, you better not get in a fight in front of 50 Cent either. If he sees that you're the aggressive type, he might just stop messing with you too. Yo, you better not get more popular than 50. 50 might not mess with you then. What do you got to do for 50 Cent to mess with you? Do you just got to sit on the airplanes and not say shit? Do you just got to sit in your hotel room and wait to get a call from 50? Like, come on. I've talked to people who have been on these tours with 50. And they told me they were sick of being on these tours with 50. There's only so much you can do, if 50's not using you and putting you in a show. You know what I'm saying? If 50's not using your talent in the right ways. What are you, following 50 Cent around to feed his ego? Got to be smart about it, man. But a lot of people say, yo, whoever would say they wouldn't want to just ride around with whoever would say they just don't want to ride around with 50 on jets is an idiot. Some people would say that too, though. They'd be like, Mike, are you serious? Mikey T, are you serious? Who wouldn't just want to ride around on jets with 50? Whatever, man. If you want to just, ride around on jets with 50, I actually did an interview with Kid where he spoke on that. Choppa said Buck's first album was okay. Honestly, man, I think Buck had the better album out of all the G-Unit guys. Straight Out of Cashville was better than Thoughts of a Predicate Felon, and it was better than Hunger for More to me as well, even though that was Lloyd Banks' strongest album. I still like Straight Out of Cashville better than Lloyd Banks' solo debut, and I liked it better than Tony Yayo's solo debut, and I'd go as far to say that I liked it better than the Beg for Mercy album as well, just because of the fact that that was a group album and it was a little bit repetitive, if we're being real. My guy Uncle Ralph said Bucks was on fire at one point. Yeah, man. And at the beginning, it really didn't look like Young Buck was going to be much of anything. Like, let's be real. At the beginning, it didn't look like Young Buck's project was going to be as successful as Banks's project. It looked like he could kind of get lost up in the cracks for a second. But Young Buck's album came out and it had that major breakthrough single, Shorty Wanna Ride With Me. And Young Buck just turned up with that record and really just stepped aside from all the other G Unit guys. Yeah, Prices on My Head was another dope record on the Straight Out of Cashville joint. Let me bring up the track listing here, because I'm a big fan of both the Young Bucks albums. Probably, honestly, more of a fan of Buck the World. But I'm going to get here. I'm going to look at the track list. I'm a Soldier with 50. That's pretty much a run-of-the-mill intro track. Do It Like Me was cool. Interesting beat. Let Me In was the lead single with the introduction vocals from 50 Cent. Look at Me Now. Look at Me Now. Damn, was that the one that I was thinking was Look at Me Now was actually the single, right? Look at Me Now and Bonafide Hustler had a split music video. Yeah, black gloves, black mask, black shirt, black pants, blue steel. Yeah, that song Black Gloves was crazy. You walk like me, we do, we talk like we do, and nobody like me. Yeah, Young Buck's album had a lot of good records on it. Lloyd Banks' album had a lot of amazing features, though. I'll give him that. He had a lot of amazing features. He had Snoop Dogg, he had Eminem, he had Nate Dogg, he had all these spectacular features. But Young Buck's album was just really out of this world. Like, I really thought Young Buck could have actually stood up to a Lil Wayne back then, you guys. Prices on My Head with D-Tay. Prices on My Head. Bang Bang actually had a cool ass sample on it. Thou Shall might be the Taking Hits with D-Tay or Thou Shall, you guys. I'm thinking Thou Shall might have been better than that. Walk With Me, Stat Quo, the Shady Records artist who didn't really get his just due. I guess he went on to manage Lil Xan. Oddly, I guess he also started a label with The Game. Another thing very oddly happened. You know, his album was going to be called Statlanta. It was a Shady Aftermath project, the first project since 50 Cent. Didn't really go the way they thought it was going to go, though. Kind of sucked because I was looking forward to Stat Quo. But yeah, Young Buck's album was amazing. But going back to it, man, Mike Knox, he got caught up and he was made to apologize to 50 Cent's ops. Meek Mill on camera. Mike Knox, do you think that was a sign of weakness? Apologizing to 50 Cent's op on camera, G's? What are you thinking? How is a G-Unit artist apologizing to his CEO's op on camera and thinking that he's still friends with his CEO the next day? You are never getting invited to another G-Unit brunch. I'm sorry, no more G-Unit brunch for Mike Knox. Do you think it made G-Unit look almighty when you apologize to Meek Mill on camera? Huh? Did that make G-Unit look almighty? Young Buck definitely didn't. You make G-Unit look as almighty as Olivia. You guys remember Olivia? Y'all remember Olivia, right? She's more thorough than Mike Knox. Do I gotta post a poll? Who's more thorough in G-Unit? Mike Knox or Olivia? Do I need to post a poll, you guys? Mike Knox, let me tell you, the fans weren't impressed. The fans weren't impressed. I don't know who in the hell, like, who they thought they saw, like, when you came into the picture. Like, who is this guy? They didn't even get a chance to see you, actually. I don't even think 9 out of 10 people would know. 9 out of 10. 5 out of 10. I don't think 5 out of 10 people would know that Mike Knox was even affiliated with G Unit. He didn't even get a proper presentation of his affiliation. 40 Glock got more of an introduction than Mike Knox. How sad is that? 40 Glock has been on a magazine cover. So that's why I'll say it again. The fans weren't impressed when you came on the internet and you had a mixtape hosted by Tony Yayo. Who the hell thought this was a good move to put Mike Knox down with G Unit? And let me ask you this. Why are you apologizing to Meek Mill? Why are you apologizing to Meek Mill? He's a rapper. He's a rapper. What are you scared of? You scared of O'Malley? You scared of O'Malley or something? A-Rap was beefing with Meek Mill, wasn't scared of O'Malley. What are you doing out here, man? I'll be real with you. Gangsters don't care. They don't care. Mike Knox, if you really want to be a gangster rapper, which you are trying to be, I'll say this. Yayo is actually right here. And for the first time, I actually agree with Tony Yayo. Imagine everyone on death row was soft. You can't even have one soft person on death row, you guys. That's how 50 Cent wanted G Unit. They had soft rappers at Rockefeller. They had soft members of other record labels. But who was a soft member of Wu-Tang? Who was a soft member of Wu-Tang? It's a trick question. There are no soft members of Wu-Tang. You can't be in Wu-Tang if you're soft. That's what I'm telling you. You can't be in G Unit if you're soft. That's like J. Cole reaching out to Raekwon, like, put me down. It ain't going to work, bro. 50 had it all figured out, you know what I mean? But then he decided to dibble. He decided to dabble because he wasn't really sure if he wanted to go the 50 Cent route or if he wanted to go the Ja Rule route. He was doing songs like Candy Shop, and he was doing songs like What Up Blood, What Up Cuz. You know what I mean? He was thinking like, should I grab Olivia or should I do it with Mike Knox and tear up the streets? Yeah, Mike, I think I'm going to go with Olivia on this one. That's what 50 did. I think I'm going to go with Olivia on this one, Mike. I don't think they're really understanding what we're doing here, Mike. Mike, I'm sorry, but I don't think you're really wowing 50 Cent. Your name doesn't really ring bells, bro. When I first heard of you, I actually thought, like, what is he, a boxer? Is he a boxer or something? I don't know why I thought that, but I was thinking Mike Knox, like, what, he knocks people out? Oh, you mean like Fort Knox? What is it? What does his name mean? Is Knox like his government name? Huh? Does he knock people out? Back to that. Why do they call you Knox? Why do they call you Knox? You should have knocked out Meek Mill. And if you did knock out Meek Mill, you'd be up there and have a spot on G Unit. You'd be laughing with Tony Yayo. You'd be laughing with Uncle Murda. Now, don't call me a hater, you guys. I just call it like I see it. You made a mistake. You made a mistake when you didn't just take your opportunity. All this talk about you be fighting with Beanie Siegel. You be fighting with Beanie Siegel in the club, right? Why didn't you tangle with Meek Mill then? He's dissing your boss. Meek Mill's making 50 Cent look like a clown. The only relevant rapper that goes out of his way to make 50 Cent look like a clown. Say that Queens thinks 50 Cent is a snitch. Meek Mill said that the real dudes in Queens think 50's a snitch, and you apologize. and you apologize to that guy? What's going on with you, man? People out there need to figure out what the hell they're doing when they jump on these interviews and they be saying shit. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you're gonna have to kick my ass before I say any of that. You're gonna have to kick my ass before I say any of that. You heard? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. But yeah, man, I just wanted to come on here and let off, man, because I just couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? I'm just in there checking out Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, and I'm like, what? Gilly really did that? Gilly pulled a Mikey T. Gilly, you dead ass asked that man, what about Mike Knox? Is you going to let him back in the group? I really can't believe you did that, man. But honestly, man, after the acknowledgement that Gilly had with Mike Knox and like the camaraderie that they all had, the Philly brotherhood, you know what I mean? Because Philly is, one of the greatest areas in hip hop. I would have to say Gilly's probably disappointed that Mike Knox would even violate Meek Mill to the point where Meek Mill's homies had to come and, you know what I mean, put Mike Knox in his place. It's like, yo, we were all just in a circle, you know what I mean, talking to one another. They had all went to Gilly's crib and they were all together. I seen a bunch of pictures and shit like that. I really should have been there. You know what I mean? Personally, I wish I would have went to Gilly's crib, just drove there, pulled up, you know what I'm saying? And just cleared out all my issues with Meek Mill or Mike Knox or whoever. And then you leave that there. You don't jump back on the internet and start dissing dudes after you have an understanding. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Mike Knox threw us all off. You know what I mean? For the last 2.5 years, you've been playing silent, low-key role. And believe me, I'd be around these dudes who are affiliated and they just want to play silent when it's like, nah, this is really your opportunity to talk. And they just want to play silent. They just want to avoid things. For the last 3 years, it's been Mike Knox's opportunity to speak on Meek Mill. And now he wants to do it. Like, it didn't make no sense. It came like 2.5 years late. Like, you kept silent for all them years. What was the point? Did you think you was going to get a Meek Mill cleared feature? What did you think you was going to pull a major distribution record? You know what I'm saying? Like how you say you did that major distribution record with 50 and like Young Jeezy or whatever the hell the record was. You think you was going to get 50 and Meek on a record? Gets to work, man. Get to work, man. I don't let a day go by where I'm not working. I don't let a day go by where I'm not making new material, man, dropping new exclusives, man. Just like I seen this one today, and I'm like, man, I got a podcast about this. I got a podcast about this. But yeah. Yeah. This is what just popped off today, man. And Mike Knox kind of got put on blast. Mike Knox got put on blast, you guys. What songs does Mike Knox have? What songs does Mike Knox have? I mean, he has a few mixtape records. He had a group that he actually started called the Back Block Boys with like 8 different people, which is another confusing thing, but I'm not really going to talk about that too much today. That was just confusing, man. He created a group like that with like 8 people in it, and it's like, dude, can you please just focus on what you're doing as an artist? Like, you just got out of jail several years ago. You got out of jail. Just focus on what you're doing as an artist, man. Don't try to keep on involving the young guns and trying to put Oskino on records. When are you signing these dudes to like a 5 group? You know what I mean? What songs does he have with 50? You go check it out, Chopper. Like, just Google it. Maybe he does have a few songs with 50. Oh, let me Google it real quick. I could Google it and I'll just do a basic search. You know what I mean? Like Mike Knox featuring 50 Cent. And I'll see what pops up. All you really see is 50 Cent comes to Philly for Mike Knox. Mike Knox on fighting gunplay at the BET Awards. And then my clip, breaking news, 50 Cent kicks Mike Knox out of G Unit because Mike Knox pretty much, 50 Cent pretty much put the video of Mike Knox getting ran up on his page. But it was, like I said, it was a comedy, like, knockoff version of it where they were making fun of it. And the shit went viral as hell. I can't believe that a video went viral of comedians making fun of Mike Knox getting pressed over, getting pressed by Meek Mill's people over the 50 Cent beef. Yeah, no songs. No songs. But yeah, I'm out of here for the night, you guys. Make sure you subscribed if you're not already subscribed. I got to work on some videos. Make sure you go check out my new interview with Gat Taylor, aka Gat Murda, the co-host of My Expert Opinion. Just dropped a series of interviews with him, and I'll be back for another live, man. Peace.